Good morning, folks. So here we are. It is Wednesday. This is December 2nd, a very important day for me. And today what we're going to be working on is we're going to be taking our understanding of the organelles, and now we're going to be moving that up to the next level. So over the last several days and the end of last week before Thanksgiving, what I had you do was I had you create a project where you picked 5 of the organelles and then you presented them in such a way as to kind of get a little bit creative with it, but to go over their name, what they look like, what they do. Then, the beginning of this week, we went back over those organelles again. We identified them on a diagram, getting used to what they look like on something like this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to step a little bit more. Now we're going to move into an analogy. So for an analogy, what that means is we want to say A is like B. We want to compare something that has a similar quality or a similar, in this case, function or job. So if we take a look in Schoology, once again, we are still in Unit 3. We finished that Wednesday of next week. We are still in week 4 because December 2nd is between the 30th of November and the 4th of December. Today, what we're going to be looking at is the cell analogy document right here. And this is going to be pretty straightforward, and hopefully it should be quite easy for a lot of people. But we'll see. Being able to do this, the importance of it, will mean that you can conceptualize, like you know what the individual pieces do well enough to compare 2 different things and identify, are they kind of doing the same thing? Like, do these 2 equate? Is there some sort of connection and direct comparison between them? So let me show you what I mean. Now, for our cell city analogy, it should be pretty straightforward. It says, in a faraway city called Grant City, the main export and production product is the steel widget. Now, at that point, I'm going to stop. You'll notice that widget is underlined. That means that it's one of our answers down here. So what we want to do is we want to look through the different organelles that are listed. We want to identify what each of the organelles do. And then we want to find the underlined term in these 2 paragraphs that match the function of the organelle. So, for example, I start everybody off the same way. Widget, all right, that underlined term. This is what the cell city makes. This is the thing that it makes, the thing that it releases, that it sends out to other cells. And I help everybody out by pointing out that widget is our analogy for protein. So right here for protein, you would write down widget. So now, with that knowledge, we know that this cell is making protein. Now you need to track through this. And all right, well, if the widget is protein, what makes protein? What organelle makes protein? You should have the answer to that. Now, once you know the organelle that makes protein, now you want to find out through this text in here which underlined term makes widgets. Because if it makes a widget and a widget is protein, then whatever makes the protein has to be the organelle that makes protein. And you want to kind of work back from that. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. All right, we all know that at this point. What's the powerhouse? What provides the power for the city? Find it in that paragraph. If we take a look at something that's very specific, like the nucleus, we know the nucleus controls the cell and holds the DNA. What controls the city? What tells the city what to do? That's your goal. That is the point of an analogy. We're going to take, once again, the functions of these, and we're going to try to line them up with what is being described here. All right. Now, do not worry about this this bottom box that seems like it's kind of cut off. We're actually going to go into a lab Thursday and Friday where you guys will be creating and working on your own analogies for a cell as well. So we're going to get lots of time to practice this. So ladies and gentlemen, for today, it's a pretty easy day. We got this one worksheet, 9 blanks to figure out from 2 paragraphs. And I've already given you one of them, and almost 2. So if you finish this up and you're like, oh, great, now I have free time. Remember, there's still a lot of work that a lot of people have not gotten in yet. I would suggest you spend your time on that, at least our class time. So hopefully that clears things up. Remember, there is also a cell diagram sitting in our folder for this week for you to practice things like labeling the different organelles of a cell that you see behind me. Make sure that you can do, at least, if nothing else, make sure you can do those big 5, the important 5 that we've gone over. You need to be able to identify the cell membrane, the nucleus, the ribosome, the mitochondria, and the chloroplast. Those are the key 5 that you've got to be able to do, that the tests, the regents this year will always ask you about. All right. Well, hopefully that clears things up. I hope that helps everybody to understand, and I look forward to seeing you